All right, my friend, welcome back to Confessions of a Closer. This is the interview series where I pull back the curtain with other sales reps and entrepreneurs who are consistently closing over 100 grand a month to share with you the tips, tools, and tactics responsible for that level of success. And today, I've got a very special guest, my good friend Franco Urbaez, who is an agency coach, helps new digital agencies scale to over 30 grand a month, and he's got a whole bunch of other awesome stuff going on too. So really excited to bring him on here, pull back the curtain, and look inside of what makes him so successful. So, Franco, good to see you again, brother.
What's up, Grant? Bro, you got that dialed in, man. That's awesome, dude.
I want to get it down so well that like Graham Stephan does with his show, I can have my guests say it and be like, all right, so today on Confessions of a
Nice.
Closer. But
That is so cool, man. I love this, bro. And thanks for having me on here, bro.
oh, of course, man. You were one of my top must-have guests on here because I've seen you just absolutely crushing it, and I feel it's going to be pretty fun to dive into some of the things that you
I
did to close. What was it? Over 95% of the people at your last event.
95.8%, but who's counting, right?
Yeah, don't let me jip you on that point eight.
Yeah,
So before we dive into that, can you give everyone watching just like a super quick overview of who you are and how you help? Because chances are a lot of the people watching this video could stand to be at least connected with you, if not hiring you to help them make a lot more money.
absolutely. Well, I actually used to have a digital marketing agency, and I've since grown that to $30,000 a month, three different times in three different niches. And then some people started to reach out to me and say like, "Hey, can you help me do the same?" And then I started to take on some coaching clients as well. Found crazy fulfillment out of that, and so that's kind of like how I evolved to becoming a coach for agency owners, helping them scale to $30,000 a month or more. Several of our students have already surpassed well beyond $30,000 a month. It's kind of like it's kind of stuck already, but we have seven-figure students and everything like that. So that's kind of like what my wheelhouse is right now. But I'm an entrepreneur at heart. Had five different businesses: software company, real estate, trucking company, digital marketing agency, and another coaching business. So really, really big in systems and teams and everything like that. So I love helping. It just what I teach is just entrepreneurship. It just so happens to be a digital marketing agency. Easiest business model in the world. So yeah, that's kind of my jam.
I love it, man. Where does Big Dreamers fall in with all of this? Because I just love that as a tagline. It's a big call to new opportunity and potential. And when you sponsored Tribe of Buyers Live, all the graphics and stuff you had put together, man, it was world class.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Yeah. So the my company name is Dream Big Media, and so that's where and so the tribe that we're growing is called Big Dreamers, right? And so Big Dreamers really stems from like my hopes, like people laugh at me and that's fine and stuff like that. But like when I say like I'm even talking to my team, right? And so I'm talking to my team and telling them like, look, Disney, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Dream Big Media, right? Like that's where we're aiming, right? So like big dreams, right? And that's kind of like the like I really want to be the voice in people's heads that tells them to keep going, that like nothing's out of reach. Like you just gotta have the knowledge, the network, the tools, the resources, everything you need, but it's out there. You can go and grab it. You can make the world what you want it to be. And that's kind of the message that I really ram down the throats of everybody like in my tribe and stuff like that, that no one, you don't have to submit to the status quo. You don't have to believe in the limiting beliefs of other people, right? And allow that to be chains on you and hold you down. So I really want to break the chains that people have from their limiting beliefs and let them know and let them see that they can actually change the world to how they want to see it, right? And it's really just helping aspiring entrepreneurs know that it's possible. It's possible that they can go and create more money than they've ever dreamed, and with that money, be able to create a lifestyle for themselves or change the world. Right? If you look around our rooms, I'm sorry, bro, I'm on a tangent, bro. If you look around our rooms, like literally everything that you have, the technology, everything was created by an entrepreneur, right? So that's really what is I believe entrepreneurs are going to change the world, and that's kind of my mission is to help them do so. It just so happens that having a good cash flowing business is the launch pad to that end goal.
Mm. I love that, man. That reminds me of one of my favorite quotes. It's something along the lines of like, the only people who will end up changing the world are those who are crazy enough to believe that they can.
Yeah.
And this is a common theme that you're probably picking up on after you've gone through the first few episodes of Confessions of a Closer. There's a big difference between someone making six figures a year versus six figures a month. And one of those key distinctions that I'm really seeing in all these, people like you, Franco, as an example, is a relentless dedication and commitment to possibility, not circumstance or limitations. Because we've all got them. We've all got our own trials, tribulations, this, that, and the other. But what really separates, the cream from the rest of the milk is just relentlessly being committed to that bigger picture possibility. Like you say, being a big dreamer. So I resonate with that a lot.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I love that. Because people get inputs, they get these negative inputs, like, you talk to somebody, even a spouse or a parent or, anybody, right? And you talk to somebody and then you tell them like, that big dream of yours, and then they like shut it down, not possible, scoff, roll their eyes and stuff like that. That's an input, right? And like your ability to take those inputs, okay, and then turn it into like, that's either going to make you shy away from this thing, right? Or it's going to like light a relentless fire underneath you, right? That you're going to be able to do it no matter what, right? And use it as fuel. And a lot of people that, like the 99%, right, that never going to change the world and stuff like that, it's because they've allowed those inputs to, put those chains on them and realize, right? But if you break through that and you just say like, bro, like Pepper, you talk about Pepper and stuff like that, right? Like that's my software. Everybody told me it's not possible, right? And then I was going, asking, it's not out there. And I was like, well, if it's not out there, I'm going to cut somebody who was a big dreamer like me. And then he showed me a prototype, right? And he paid for it and he said, look, it's possible. And then we built it, and now it's grown into like this huge company. So, but yeah, man. That's a dream.
funny you bring up Pepper. We can use this as a quick commercial break. If you are a sales rep or an entrepreneur who uses social media and Facebook primarily to generate leads for your business, you can't afford not to be using Pepper. And I'll link right up here a video that I did with you, Franco, on detailing the inner workings of Pepper. But basically, in a nutshell, she's the most effective assistant possible for helping you set way more qualified sales calls without you having to be in the trenches yourself. We use Pepper in all of our businesses, and I recommend it any chance that I get because it is phenomenal. And if you go down into the description, there's a 14-day free trial link. So at the very least, give it a shot. I guarantee Pepper's going to make you money. She'll pay for herself in dividends.
Let's go, bro.
Let's go. Awesome. So, selfish moment. One of the main reasons that I wanted to bring you on today was because I heard that you closed over 95 and specifically 95.8% of the people at your last event. And this wasn't on some like low ticket, easy low barrier offer entry point or anything like that. But this is a real high ticket program. So talk to me a little bit about what went into this process, from lead up. So how were you actually bringing the right people to the event? And then also like, how'd you set up the pitch? Were there any unexpected things you had to work through? Can I give me the rundown if you wouldn't mind? Because those are some pretty epic numbers.
Yeah, I could talk for days about this. So I'm going to kind of give you like, like the best that I can think of off the top of my head, right? You got to have the right audience. You got to have the right people in the room. Like I believe marketing at its core is getting the right offer in front of the right person with the right message at the right time, right? Right offer, right person, right message, right time. Okay. And if you knock all those things, in fact, that's what the entire BD Live event, Big Dreamers Live event was about, right? It's like, how do we get from $0 to $30,000 a month in your agency, right? And we're actually giving away those recordings of this event in our Facebook group, which it's kind of crazy. Because it's just,
plug that. That sounds super valuable.
Yeah, it's insane. So it's really, really cool. But it's essentially taking that one sentence apart, breaking it down over 7 different recordings, right? The trainings throughout the 3-day event. But I had to have the right people in the right room, right? So every single person that came to that event at least paid me $5,000 or $6,000. Okay. So beforehand, these people have already paid that much money to be a customer of mine, okay, a client of mine. And then they had to pay $1,000 just to attend the event, right? And then they had to pay $1,000 for their spouse to attend the event. Okay. What does this tell you? Okay. These people, they have money, right? Or they love, spending with me, right? So right people in the room. Okay. So that's a big thing. In terms of the messaging, we'll kind of like break into that, right? So again, this is literally, I'm going to answer your question with what I teach, right?
Yeah.
But the right offer. Okay, so I mean, I over delivered. When I say over delivered, it's like, this could have easy. I could have sold it for 50,000 if I wanted to, right? I actually sold it for 18,000 plus. Okay, so it was $18,000 at this event, right? I price anchored it to 90. I think it was like $96,000. Okay, and then I did price slashes and stuff like that, and it was crazy because when we did the pitch, I was like, I'm not going to charge you guys $97,000, right? And then somebody literally in the middle of my pitch, just imagine this live. Somebody said, "Why not?" Just screamed, right? And everybody started laughing, and then turned around at him and tell him like, "Shut up, Will!" Like, and then I broke it down. I was like, "I'm not even going to charge you half of that, $48,000." And I heard another one like, "Yes, right." And then I also, you know what the price marinade is at an event?
Yeah.
Price marinade?
Yeah, but explain it because this is not a very well-known term.
Okay, yeah. So the price marinade, I learned it originally from Myron Golden. Okay, and so Russell Brunson did it at 10x, right? I think it was a 10x, and he did
I
a
was
price.
there. It
You
was
were there
really effective.
Yeah, exactly. So he came out on stage and he said, "I'm going to ask you guys for $11,000. Okay, by the end of this presentation, if you believe that I can make you 10x your business, is it worth $11,000? If you by the end of this presentation say yes, it is, then I'm gonna ask you for $11,000, right?" So he price marinated up front before he started talking and giving any value. He told them how much it was going to cost. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
then he went through the whole thing, and then he said, "This is $11,000," and people were ready to pay that. In fact, the entire presentation, they were thinking in their brains, how am I going to afford $11,000? Who can I borrow from? What lines of credit do I have? All these different things. When he price slashed it, it was only 3,000, I think, right? It was only 3,000. And then everybody ran up, just got out of their seats. Oh my God, easy, right? Easy money, right? Because they already had in their mind 11 grand is what I was going to have to pay this man, right?
Dude, and I almost bought, by the way, at that event. I almost bought, and I had no need for what he was selling. It was so effective that I literally, it was almost like I was an Eskimo about to buy ice.
Yeah, exactly, bro. It's so powerful, especially when you're sold on the presentation, right? So when we price marinated up front, one of the earliest sessions, okay, and if you get the recordings, you'll see it, okay, and like the first or the second session, I tell them like, "Hey guys, I'm thinking about, I don't even mention the process. I didn't even do a price marinade. Like, I'm gonna pitch you guys, okay? No one knew what pitch was coming. I'm sure they knew me because I'm a marketer, right? And I'm sure they knew in their heart that they were gonna get a pitch at some point, waiting for it. But I didn't mention. I said, we're here to get you to $30,000 a month. This is the exact strategy of how you're going to do it. And if you implement this stuff, your life is going to change. All these different things, right? But I said, and I'm thinking of a lot of you guys have already surpassed $30,000 a month. I'm thinking of creating an event or creating a program that's going to get you to 7 figures, okay, which is $83,000 a month. $1 million run rate. And then I said, and I'm going to be selling this in a teaching moment. And I'm going to walk into the hidden agendas. Again, I can talk, right? But it was a teaching moment. Okay. And the teaching moment is $25,000 is probably what I'm thinking of. I'm going to be charging this thing, right? And what was the teaching moment behind that? The teaching moment was you have to charge your worth. Okay. If you're not charging your worth, then you're not going to be able to get results for clients. And then you're going to have to take on more clients and so on and so forth. It was a value piece right there. Right. But really, what was the hidden agenda? The hidden agenda was the price marinade. Okay. So I was doing that effectively for a moment. And it was like 3 seconds to the point where my team member pulled me aside after the event. He's like, "Bro, you only left it up there for like 3 seconds, right?" It's like, I don't know if everybody caught it and everything like that. And I was like, "No, they caught it." They caught it. I'm like, "Trust me, they caught it," right? And then so when I went going back to the offer, when I actually pitched it, right? And I said, and you guys know I was actually going to charge $25,000 for this, and they were like, "Okay, that's what it is," right? And the whole slide, the PowerPoint slide, was full, right? And then we had a footer at the bottom and everything. Boom, 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 boom. I did all my price slashes. There was no more space, right? But under in white at the footer, I added parentheses, but I'm not going to charge you that either. And then the freaking crowd went crazy, right? And they're like, "What?" Because they already thought. And then it was $18,000, and they were like, boom, okay. And that's where we actually closed 23 out of 24, and we walked away with $411,000 that weekend. Yeah. And
Come on,
on top of that, bro.
Say that number again. Don't gloss over it. How much in a weekend?
$411,000
with a room less than 25 people.
With a room less than 25 people.
Exactly. Come on.
Yeah, let's go, dude. So and then people just went for it, man. It was crazy. There was a line that said, I'm going to stand out here. I didn't make anybody rush to the back or anything like that. I said, I'm going to be outside. I want to talk to the people who are serious or who are interested or curious to know. But like, I think you might have helped me out with that. I'm not sure. But like, when you were at Travel Buyers, right? It's like, that same concept of you reaching out and talking to everybody and everybody sending a video message and everything like that. It's like, I want to talk to people who are thinking or qualified to actually take us up. Bro, there was a line, right? And people were sitting there. And what's beautiful is that the way it was set up, we were on a couch here. I'm talking one on one, kind of whispering here. And then there's this couch over here and the people standing in the back, all looking at me, close people individually. And
Yeah.
then we're just talking, whispering. They don't know what we're saying over there, right? And he's like, are you sure we're gonna do this? We're gonna do this, right? He's like, yeah, we're gonna do this. We stand up, hug each other, let's go. And everybody waiting to talk to me was cheering for this. You see what I'm saying? Like, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because that's another really powerful little trick that I used when, I was closing in the back of the room for Tribe of Buyers Live. The bell that I was using is still over there. And you probably remember every
Yeah.
close, I didn't ring the bell. I had them ring the bell. It was their freedom bell. Like I made my choice to be fucking free.
Oh, bro,
Right.
I want to show you. Oh man, I don't have it with me, bro. This
Did you have a bell too?
No, I didn't have a bell, but the thing, those small things make all the difference, right? So in our, we had like, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna show you the trifold brochure. I might actually, I do. Give me a second.
Ooh, I like
I
brochures.
have it. Yeah. So I have the trifold brochure right here, right? So these are all the. Let's go, bro. These are all the signatures, right?
Oh, those are sick.
Yeah, yeah. This is it. But let me show you what the actual brochure looks like. And what's really cool about this is that everybody, when I got to the pitch, everybody got one of these. And it's a trifold brochure, so it opens up like this, right?
Mm,
And the title of my presentation was called "The Fire or the Future." Okay, and the point is that
that's good.
you don't get your future without a little bit of fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you get to choose what your future is going to be, or you get to choose it's either going to be the future or it's going to be the fire, right? And so when they open this up, right, the actual offer and like the actual presentation of like the game plan is over here. And then over here is the actual card, right? So they rip this off. And when they hand it in, what are they handing in? Their future.
The future.
Let's go. Yes, exactly, man. So that's like even small things like that, man. Everything we had so much attention to detail on everything like that. So yeah, we covered right people in the room, right offer, right? The right messaging is the hidden agenda.
Mm-hmm.
So everything. So the hidden agenda would and yeah, I reserve. So after the
Well, I can
event,
tell you're excited to share
yeah,
this one.
yeah. After the event, okay, it was amazing because after the event, I told them you get a midnight mastermind. Your training starts right away, right? There's a midnight mastermind, so you sign up. We go upstairs to the third floor, and I'm going to walk you through, and then we're going to do a midnight mastermind, right? And when they got there, I told them all. I was like, "Okay, guys, this is midnight mastermind, right?" And I was like, "Who wants to know how I closed the entire room? And today." Got the world record for the highest conversion of rate at a live event, right? We literally broke the record. Okay. And everybody was so happy to be a part of history and everything like that, right? And they were like, I was like, I'm going to show you how I closed each and every single one of you guys. You guys want to learn that, right? Your training starts now. And they were ballistic, right? Even the video crew, it was like, recording it, it just say, I've been to hundreds of masterminds, right? And nobody has done what Franco just did. He closed the entire room and then he showed them every single thing that he did to close them. And everybody loved it. They didn't feel taken advantage of. They didn't feel like, no, because they're learning, right? So that's, and then when we actually started the Inner Circle Elite, like I had 2 presentations prepared for them on exactly like everything that went into me closing that room so that they could do it themselves, right? And we call this, if you guys are catching that BD Live recordings, it's in the content conversion formula. It's a training inside of the BD Live content that shows you, I literally, everything I teach in that, I did on the last presentation. And it's crazy. It's wild. So in any case, we had that midnight mastermind and we just got all, out of the pool and everything like that. And everybody was wet and soaking. We're sitting in this like movie theater up in the like, I paid like $70,000 or $80,000 for this event. Really awesome house in Orlando. But when I walked through them, I talked to them about the hidden agenda. Now, the hidden agenda is this: it's giving a piece of value, but really the underlying theme, the underlying purpose of what you're saying is to shift their beliefs about the offer. What do they have to believe about the offer? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
About when they make a chance. So the way that I think about it is like everybody that came into that room on that day had a 5-figure mindset. So what did I frame the entire event around? It says, you'll never see somebody living a 7-figure life with a 5-figure mindset. It doesn't happen. You have to have the 7-figure mindset before you get to the 7-figure life, right? So
Yep.
this weekend, I want you guys to in 12 months from now, I want you guys to make 7 figures in your agency. Who's ready to do that? Cool. And then I broke that down, okay? And I said, you have to get rid of the 5-figure mindset, okay? You have to develop the 7-figure mindset before you can have a 7-figure life, okay? So you guys cool with me breaking all your limiting beliefs this weekend, right? I need your buy-in. I need your permission. I need, you hold each other accountable, breaking out even our logo, right? It's called Break the Limit, and then it's in a box, and you can see Break the Limit actually coming out of the box because
Dude, you do the best graphics and stuff. I
thank you,
gotta
bro.
give it to you, hands down.
I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. But yeah, and then the very first presentation was about Break the Logo and stuff, and I said, look, most people we call it a comfort zone, right? When we're afraid to do something, we call it a comfort zone. We're in our comfort zone because that's where we're comfortable, right? I flip it on its heels and I say, look, I flip it on its head and I say, bro, the comfort zone is a danger zone. Okay. It's a
Mm-hmm.
danger zone. Why? Because growth happens on the outside of your comfort zone. Okay. You're either better than today or you're worse than today. So you're either growing or you're dying. Okay. There's no plateau. There's no stagnant. There's no, I learned nothing. No, you're either dying and you're getting worse or you're getting better. Okay. And then
Mm-hmm.
when you still in their brain, it's okay, cool. Well, if growth happens on the outside of your comfort zone, if you stay in your comfort zone, that's a death sentence. Right. So I said, the way I picture it is like, look, every single time, this is the way that I operate my life. Every single time that there's something that makes me uncomfortable, right? I walk to the edge of my comfort zone. If I close my eyes, I can almost feel my hand rubbing the inside of the walls of my comfort zone. And I know when I get to that point, I have to break through. I have to break through. That's how I live my life. That's the story that's got me to the success that I have, right? And so when I teach that to them, that's valuable. Would you say that's valuable, right?
Oh, 100%.
What's the hidden agenda? The hidden agenda is every time you're uncomfortable, you have to do it. That's the hidden agenda. So when I'm asking them for $18,000, that's uncomfortable, right? They have to do it. Same thing. It's just like, look, I need your permission. I need your buy-in, right? So I need your permission. Would you guys allow me to break out of your limiting beliefs? Whenever that happens, okay, you just go to the gym, right? You just imagine you're in the gym working out. Well, that's going to stretch your muscle, going to rip your muscles. It's not going to feel good, but it's going to give you the result that you're looking for, right? So you actually have to go to the gym and actually do it, right? So the same thing. Do you guys give me permission to shred the muscles for you, right? So you can actually get the result that you want. Everyone says yes. Okay. Do I have your buy-in? Buy-in for yourself that you're going to play full out. And then also on top of that, that any single time that everybody else, okay, every single time that you see somebody struggling with breaking their limits, you take them, you pull them off to the side, and you tell them that they can push through, they can do this, right? Because this is the weekend where we're going to change our lives. That's valuable. What's the hidden agenda? When somebody is uncomfortable and they don't think they're going to move forward, these now all became my salespeople. They're going to pull them off to the side and say, like, bro, you have to do this with us, right? Yeah. Buy in as a family, right? Amazing. Great. And that happened almost multiple times an hour for 3 days. all of that stuff, right? And the content and everything like that. So it's really, that's the hidden agenda. And that's, I believe it's the offer was amazing, but the sales messaging, I evolved those men and women those 3 days from 5-figure mindset to 7-figure mindset. And it was absolutely beautiful. And again, you can catch those recordings once you join the Big Dreamers group.
Well, first off, I would love to actually listen to what it was like when you were presenting it live. But, for all the people watching this, rewind and listen to what Franco just said again, but with the lens of identifying his tie downs and his embedded commands throughout what he was just saying. Because dude, you were just lacing that right there. You have me buying in with the process. Does that make sense? Do I have permission? Right? Do I have permission to stand up for you and to help you to break through that comfort zone so that you can get what you want? Do I
Yeah.
have permission to do that? And then you're also like, so can I ask you to, when you see those people, pull them aside? Can I ask that of you? You're embedding these commands in there too, and they trust you. You've built all this rapport. I just love it, man. It's magic listening to you talk. And the way I would describe it is, it's like, most people are in a conspiracy of mediocrity, right? Like they'll buy each other's limiting bullshit beliefs so that they can both stay
Bro.
comfortable in where they're
Ah,
at. But
yes.
you created a scenario where you were basically getting them to agree to doing the opposite, right? Break out of this conspiracy of mediocrity, help each other to not buy those BS beliefs, to not buy that 5-figure mindset, but to be the 7-figure thinker, because
Yes.
from that place, anything's possible. This is real good, man. So
Yeah.
quick recap. You had buy-in before the event. This is why I love running master classes. Even a small bit of buy-in before you go to make a real offer makes a big difference in how it's received, because when people pay, they pay attention, right? So that was super smart. And I love specifically how you were creating accountability with them. So it wasn't like you selling to them, but you were creating a situation where they would support each other and making the best possible decision for their futures.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to make sure it doesn't fly under the radar. What you did with that midnight mastermind event, creating that like bookend of timing for a decision to be made, because there's this bonus that they get access to that, future clients wouldn't have the opportunity to experience. We did
Yeah.
that with Tribe of Buyers Live too. So it was like, yeah, of course, like, if you need time to make sure that it's a good fit for you, that's no issue. I really hate to see you miss out on the mastermind that we're running tonight, because we're going to make some major breakthroughs in your business before you leave. And
Yeah.
so you have the opportunity to make back your entire investment just tonight by applying even only one of the things that you'll learn. So choice is totally yours, but I would just hate myself if I didn't invite you into that opportunity.
Dude, I love that, bro. That's so cool. That is so cool. And in fact, that wasn't even like the only bonus, because
Well, I'm
remember
not surprised. You're full of
those,
bonuses.
those first 6 sessions were how to get you from 0 to $30,000 a month, and the entire strategy to do that with the digital marketing agency. But I said, you guys remember when when we started off? I said 12 months from now, I want you guys to run 7-figure agencies, right? Okay,
Mm.
well, here is the process. There's 3 phases to that. In the first video called the Limitless Agency, I walk through those 3 phases and I break it down for them. And then I say, okay, this is the 3 phases. Phase 1, okay, is what we're going to be covering in the next 6 trainings, right? And then when we get to the Fire the Future presentation, I say, okay, cool, guys, you guys like the event, blah, blah, all these different things. And then I jump into, guys, let's dive in to the second and third phase and how you get to 7 figures, right? And then we unpacked it. And one of the things that we talked about was we use Disney as an example, right? So Disney being a company, is client retention is so important. How do we have client retention, right? And then so I walk through the process. I use analogies and stories, and I do a lot of training and coaching on that particular video. But mind-blowing stuff is really, really good. And then I said in the bonus, I said, and guys, this is the bonus. Okay. Your training starts now. Midnight Mastermind tonight. Tomorrow, 3 white vans are going to pull up. Okay. And anybody wearing an Inner Circle shirt is going to be in that van. And we're going off to Disney, and you're going to see firsthand how to create a Disney level experience for your clients. Right.
Bro.
And we're going, and so everybody else that is not going to be able to make it, you have the mansion to yourself, and you can take selfie videos, and you can do Facebook Lives, and you can write some content. But everybody's in a circle is coming with us in Disney, right? It's crazy, dude. And they were like, yo, what? And I paid for their spouse as well and everything like that. So yeah, it was really awesome, dude.
Dude, you're a wizard. You already know this, but I get to reflect it back to you, because all of the different things that you're weaving into this, from a strategic standpoint, wildly effective. But what sets you apart, I think, in a land where there's a lot of people using good strategies out there, is your heart. I mean, you have an enormous heart, and
Thank you,
people
brother.
can feel it. Even just meeting you for the first time in person, we'd had like one or two conversations. Like, you're just a genuine dude, and that makes all the difference, because it's not just, what you say, but how you say it. And you're a living example of that.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate that, man.
I
That's
mean
it.
it.
Yeah, I appreciate that, bro. Thank you so much, dude. I love you, bro.
Ah, freaking love you too, bro. I was like, I remember too reaching out, being like, dude, I love you. I love the mission. Anything I can do to support you, whether you want to close her at your next event, but you're like, nah, I don't need it. I closed the whole room with no one's help.
I didn't mean it like that, bro.
Freaking stud. Oh, I love not being needed. That's my favorite thing in the world. And in fact, by the way, I'll use that on sales calls. This is a good little quick tip.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I would love nothing more than for you to not need my help. I mean, frankly, if I could just snap my fingers and you were killing it right now, that would be my big dream. I don't want to have to do all of this work with you. But that said, because I care more about your progress than I do about my time, I'm going to be there to support you every step of the way. So
Yeah.
as long as you're committed to following through, I'm not going to let you fail.
Yeah. Love that, dude. That's awesome, bro. That's a really, really like solid line, dude. I always like
Solid frame.
yeah. When I every single time I talk to you, bro, I was like, I keep wanting you to be on my team, bro. Like close people, bro. And I know you want to close out events and stuff like that. And I know you got your own thing going, but bro, like when we first met, I was on it randomly appeared on my Google Calendar. And I was like, oh, I have a meeting. I'm like, what is this? And then I just jumped on. I don't know if you remember this, but I think it was Travel Buyers GGMB, and you were coaching it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then I jumped on. That was the very first time I met you. And I was like, what's up, everybody? And stuff like that. And then you like met me, we introduced ourselves and stuff like that, right? And then, you just blew my mind. And I was like, what is this? This is amazing. Like who is this guy? And then that's how we kind of connected and stuff like that. So ever since then, bro, every single time you talk, bro, it still blow my mind.
What? That's so fun. I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Like the impact that you have just living your life, and you
Uh-huh.
hear about it like years later. Like, dude, that one conversation,
Yeah.
like episode one of the show, actually, I didn't realize I was the catalyst for Spencer, who owned a gym previously, to transition to closing full time. And that was like the best choice he ever made. I'm just
Really?
sitting there like, whoa, okay, cool. Claps for you, bro.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. That's so cool.
So, with the time we got left, man, I can't let you off without sharing hell's best kept secret.
Yeah,
Can I twist your arm to pull back the curtain just a bit further?
I'd love to. I'd love to. That gives me an opportunity. And it dives deeper into the hidden agenda too, right? So you ready
All
for it?
right, hit me. I'm ready.
Are you sure, bro? Is your audience ready for it?
Drop down below, comment I am ready. And while
uh,
you're at it, by the way, let's also thank our video sponsor, the like button. If you've appreciated Franco pulling back the curtain to share with you some of his tips, tools, and tactics responsible for closing an entire room into a high ticket offer, just gently smash that like button. It really helps us out a ton in the YouTube algorithm. All right, let's get back to it.
Absolutely. And again, you can watch these recordings at the, when you get the BD Lab content portal. So one of them training is actually called How's Best Kept Secret. The way that I started off the presentation, right, was like, who wants to know how I got you all in this room? Okay. This is my one secret sales message that I use all the time, every time, that always gets somebody to pull the trigger. Okay. Hell's Best Kept Secret, right? We call this Hell's Best Kept Secret, right? And people are antsy and stuff like that, right? Who wants to know how I got you all into my programs? And then I had you pay $1,000 to go into this room, blah, blah. Everybody is hyped up, right? This is how literally I made every single dollar that I've ever made, okay? Is Hell's Best Kept Secret, okay? And then I said also, okay, I think I said something along the lines like, the world's greatest closer, okay, was Jesus Christ, okay, and how he got the entire world, okay, to like put a church on every street corner, right?
A Bible in every hotel room.
A Bible in every hotel room and everything like that, and changed the calendar year, right, around his life, okay? And so like, BC and AD and stuff, right? So, and I said, and I went through this process. So let me unpack this real quick. Hidden agenda, okay? We're a Christian-based organization, right? So I'm a a strong Christian, right? And every opportunity that I had, I talk about Jesus, right? So thinking through this, I'm like, okay, these people, okay, I want them. I'm going to give a really strong piece of value. I'm going to give it to you guys too. But these people, at the end of the day, I'm going to share the gospel, right? And so what I did was inside of my Hell's Best Secret training, okay, was an awesome piece of like, it's my true secret sales message. And then I had the opportunity to illustrate that using the gospel presentation, right? And so at the event, and that was the hidden agenda there, is I wanted to share the gospel with everybody in the room. Okay. And also too, unpacking it and stuff like that. You watch it, you can hear the gospel, right? When you watch this training. But the hell's best kept secret is this. Okay. It's do you remember Russell Brunson's big domino statement? You
Oh
remember
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
If
if
I
I can
can
get you to believe
convince
this, everything else is falling down too.
exactly, if I can convince my ICA that this vehicle is the only way they can achieve this desired result, and if they believe that, then everything else is relevant. They have to give me money, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way that I tie this in is it's like, look, people, and I break it apart because I was using an easel for the first time, right? But the way that I do it, right, is like, okay, everybody heard this, right? You find out your prospect's current situation. Where are they right here? Okay. And then,
Mm-hmm.
where their desired situation is, right? Where do they want to get to? Okay. And then you widen the chasm, right? They can't make it on their own. And then you sell the bridge. Okay. And the bridge is essentially, how to get your thing, your product, your service, right? Your offer. Okay. How to get from here to here. And that's common sales knowledge and stuff like that, right? How did I come to Christ? Because I loved him? No. Okay. It's because someone scared the hell out of me that if I don't put my faith in Christ, okay, then I'm going to spend eternity in hell. And I was like,
Mm.
that's messed up, bro. And he's like, worth looking into, right? And then I was like, yeah,
You
it's worth,
think?
yeah, it's worth looking into. I mean, like, if what you're saying is true, it's probably the most important thing in the world, okay, to look into, right? And so I looked into it, right? But what got me to pull the trigger? Not bliss or heaven or anything like that, right? The fear of if he was right, that I was going to hell. Okay. So people
Mm.
run from pain more than they run towards pleasure, right? And so what we do and we add with the Hell's Best Kept Secret is the crumbling of the current situation. If you stay where you are, if you're in, here's the thing, if you're in the most luxury, you're in a couch and you love and you feel comfortable there and blah, 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 and all these different things. I might say, I have a nicer couch, bro. Okay. This couch is awesome. Okay. This couch has a TV. This couch has cup holders. It's more comfortable, blah, 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 and stuff like that. You're like, no, I'm cool here. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But if your house is on fire, where you're sitting in your couch, you're going to get up out of the house and go wherever you got to go. You got to go to the shack. You don't care. You got to get out of the
Mm.
house on fire. Right. That's what Hell's Best Kept Secret is. People run from pain more than they run towards pleasure. So if the current situation is crumbling, if you stay where you are, okay, your deepest, darkest fears will come true. Your deepest, darkest fears will come true if you keep doing what you're doing. And
Mm.
that's what gets you to move on the bridge, even when the bridge is scary, because your deepest, darkest fears are scarier if you stay where you are. Okay.
Mm. Yeah, this breathes new life into the question that's part of the Vital 7 questions framework, the what's the cost if nothing changes?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's one thing to just associate with that, but to really get on a deep level, like what you're talking about right now, it gives it a totally new meaning. Cause again, it's not what you say, but it's how you say it. I
Yes.
love this. I love
Yeah.
that analogy with the couch too.
Yeah, and then so the fire of the future, right? So after Hell's Best Kept Secret, we talked about the fire of the future, right? What did I do? And I'm not going to give that too much away and stuff like that. But one of the first things that I did inside of the fire of the future, right, is I made everybody close their eyes, okay? And I said, okay, the first thing, right, is you don't get the future without a little bit of fire, okay? And so the first thing is I want you all to close your mouth, close your eyes. We have to embellish the story, even if it's not true. What happens if you don't hit your goal in the next 12 months? If you don't hit seven figures? For most people, they'd be like, nothing, everything stays the same. You know what I mean? Whatever the case is, like, you know what I mean? Like maybe I miss it, but then I'm still better off than I am now. And that's not going to get them to pull the trigger, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what is? We had to embellish the story. We had to create a little bit of fire, right? So what I had everybody do is close their eyes, and I walked them through an exercise. Okay, and I said, look, you have to embellish a story because your brain can't separate fact from fiction. That's why you get scared in a movie theater, even though you know what you're watching is not real. Okay, is your brain in the emotions, right? The loudest emotion always wins out. So I have everybody close their eyes and I walk them through this exercise, and pretty much I'm telling them like, look, 12 months from now, if you don't do this, okay, the worst things in the world happens. You ever like we're in the gym, right? And you say like, yo, I gotta get this last rep in, right? I gotta push through this thing, right? And you come up with something in your mind, it's like, yo, if I don't push this rep, right? Like my wife, it's like somebody's gonna come into my home and rape my wife, right? And like, you know what I mean? Or just something like that, right? And you just like push to get that last thing in. You make your brain believe something that even if it's wild and not, like would never happen, right? You
Mm-hmm.
make it to believe. And so people, they do these certain things. My kids would like not respect me, right? My wife would leave me for somebody that is more, successful or better, caretaker, right? Of her, right? Or I'm gonna grow fat, I'm gonna gain 30 pounds, right? And I'm not gonna be able to do anything like that. I'm gonna sink into this pit of despair and depression. They've embellished the stories in their brain. Now that's their reality. If
Mm.
they do not pull the trigger, this is in their own, they came up with it. I didn't put anything in their minds, right? They came up with it. This is what would happen. I need to believe that in order for me to get here, because I know that without that, I'm not moving, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I do that. And then I also did in the future. Now, what happens 12 months from now when you do this? Okay. Embellish that story. Okay. What am I doing? Widening the chasm, right? And then I'm also putting the car like you cannot stay where you are. Okay. You're either growing, you're dying, right? You're going to end up either in the fire or you're going to end up in the future. Your choice. Okay.
Dude,
I
this
do
is
that
so good.
at the very beginning and then do my coaching and stuff like that, right? And then I do the pitch and they're like, oh, I mean, it's very hard to say no. In fact, the one guy who said no was in the mansion by himself and he was showing the team members, my team, because my team didn't come to Disney with us, right? He was showing my team members his bank account. He didn't have the money. He had to borrow money to get to the event. Okay. But he
Wow.
wanted in. I was thinking of having a donation raised up for him so he could, you know what I mean, from like the other members so he can actually join. He wanted in. He literally could not afford it. Credit cards maxed out, everything. He just could not. It would have been 100%. But I'm kind of glad that it's not 100% because nobody would believe me.
Yeah, I
You
know,
know what I
right?
mean? is
Uh,
is good, bro.
the specificity of 95.8 is a lot easier to believe.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
So
Yeah,
good.
that's a little bit of a how's best kept secret. Unpacks it a lot more
Well,
once you watch the training.
well, I love that too, and I need to go through that training for my own personal curiosity's sake. But I I don't love a lot of NLP. It's a lot of memorization of really fluffy tactics and stuff, and there's some points where yeah, it can be applied effectively. One of which, though, I think you hit on in a really smart way with bringing people through that kind of embellishment process, because like the subconscious can't discern between positive or negative, meaning like if you're thinking well, the old example, don't think of a pink elephant flying above the United States building or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you're naturally going to think of it the same way as if you're trying to quit smoking by saying don't smoke that cigarette, don't smoke that cigarette, I don't want to smoke a cigarette. Your subconscious can't tell the don't, it's just hearing cigarette, smoke a cigarette. So getting
Mhm.
people to that point, oh man, this is sparking some really good ideas. Just get wait to see the content coming out after this one, because dude, you're filling me up. I love this.
Yeah, man. Because it's crazy. I was actually on a mastermind call with somebody else, and I was in a mastermind after my event. They just had a quick conversation like we did in like an interview like this, and it was like a 20-minute clip excerpt, and that they just put inside of their content portal. And unbeknownst to me, I didn't even realize it was in there. And then also people just, but when I was in this mastermind, like literally this week, and this little like get together, and they were just both of them thanking me for just that because he said like, bro, if I didn't watch that, I would have made 3 sales like at my event, right? And we closed 14 people. You know what I mean? Just like, bro, it was because of that 20-minute like thing, right? So I love that because this is the key, right? It's the key. It's just like they have to. People won't move until you jab them, right? But they have to believe it, and that's why it's important that they believed previously, right? They had to believe previously that what I was saying was true. You're growing or you're dying, right? They had to believe previously that you don't get the future without a little bit of fire. These are
Mm-hmm.
words that I use, these sentences that I said over and over and over again. If you could do it one time, you could do it 3 times, you do it 3 times, you can do it 10 times, you do it 10 times, you do it 100 times. You just got to get one, right? If you do something one time, all you got to do is 3 times. You can do it 3 times, you can do it 10 times, right? And just repeat these phrases over and over and over again. And they believe that it makes sense. It makes sense. So, what is the hardest? How do you get to 7 figures? You get one client, right? Because if you do it one time, you do it 3 times, you do it 3 times, you do it 10, and they just like, all I got to get is one, and I'm at 7 figures, right? It's bro, I got so much more, but I know we gotta hurry. I know we gotta
I
wrap up.
know.
Yeah.
I wish we had all the time in the world, but unfortunately we don't today. So we got to wrap this one up a little bit early. So if you'd like the opportunity to have us bring Franco back on for round 2 to dig a bit deeper into this guy's ridiculously powerful sales brain, then smash the like button. When we get over 100 likes, I will bring him back on. That is my commitment to you, assuming Franco, you'd be
Yes,
open to
yes,
that.
of course. Yeah,
Cool.
absolutely.
Cool. Well, bro, I really appreciate you coming on today. This has been epic. Real quick before we leave, for everyone that wants to get in touch with you to learn more about your Big Dreamer events or how they could possibly work with you to scale up their agency, or maybe they even want to check out Pepper, where can they go next?
If you just type in 30k agency.com, 30k agency.com, that's how you're going to be able to kind of see what we're all about, how we can help you scale your agency. Find me on Facebook, okay? Send me a friend request, and then all over my Facebook page, you can get into that Big Dreamers group where you can get access to these recordings. Okay? Yeah.
Beautiful. And
So
those
Franco
links will be
Urbaez.
down below.
Cool. Awesome.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, thanks again for tuning in to today's episode of Confessions of a Closer. If you haven't already, make sure to smack that subscribe button on your way out and stay tuned because we'll see you in the next episode. If you liked that video, just wait till you see the next one. And if you haven't already, go right down below me and hit subscribe.